Hi, I'm Michael Brook, and I am going to do a series of videos on my new favorite instrument. This is the Ortega Guitars Hydra BSTE. BS stands for bass. BS stands for bass and other things, and TE stands for tenor uke. So, what's the point of this series of videos? What I want to do is I want to get people interested in this instrument. I want to use it as a means for me exploring the instrument, and I hope that other people will find this interesting and enjoyable. This is a double neck. It's not... I started looking for a harp ukulele. A harp ukulele is also a double-necked instrument, and it has a number of strings, maybe 6. And you can play basses. And that's what I started looking for. And I came across this, which is not a harp ukulele. It has a complete full bass neck, fretted and everything. And it can really be played all by itself. But what I want to do is to play both necks at the same time. So I've been figuring out, how do you do that? Well, what you just saw is just stretch your hands. My hands are relatively small for a guy my size, but I've seen incredible feats of hand stretching. I once met Carol Kay, the famous studio bassist who played on the Beach Boys and all kinds of records in the 60s. And she has really small hands. And I asked her, how do you do those stretches? And she did those stretches. I mean, it was unbelievable. So you can do it. Small hands should not be an obstacle to playing a stringed instrument. So that's one thing. So you can go. That was Shenandoah, one of my mother's favorite songs. And it's in the key of D. This is D on the uke. And it's just that D, G, and A. So the key of D is really great for this instrument. Now, you might say, well, that's kind of limited, obviously. The key of A isn't bad. A, D, E. But what about other keys? Well, other keys can be approached in a lot of different ways. So here's one thing that I discovered about this instrument that is really insane. It is, if I play a C chord on the uke, this note is G. But perhaps when I played that, you may have heard a C. I've check out the recording. I mean, I definitely hear a dong. I hear it's a little flat. These are rubber strings, by the way. It takes a lot of winding to put these rubber strings in, raise the pitch on them. Anyway, so I hear a C. Boom. But then when I play this alone, bong. So you could play a typical 1-5 pattern, C, G, boom, boom, boom. You could play a typical 1-5 pattern on one string. So that gives you a C chord. So in the key of G, you've got G, you've got C, and you've got D. There you go. This is amazing. It's not string resonance. I mute the strings. That's a C6 chord. I'm still getting wah, and the strings are completely muted. So it's not string resonance. Apparently, it's resonance from this cavernous body, relatively cavernous body here. So that's one way to get around the problems of your limitations, to open strings. Now, you're not just limited to open strings, because what you can do is, for example, you can tap. And actually, if you get your tapping good enough, you can play any note you want. Like, so there's tapping with this hand. Now, okay, another mode of flexibility on this is the use of the capo. Excuse me. Got to get that capo off the floor where it doesn't belong. And I got here a little, I think this was made for the mandolin. So this is, without a capo, that's a C6. Now it's a D6. And this is a D. Really easy. The key of C, I think, is the easiest ukulele key. However, the key of C, the 4 chord is an F. And to play F, you got to do some kind of subterfuge, which that's what we're doing. But if I want to play something using C fingering, which is really easy fingering, a single string or often an open 1 chord, single finger or often open 1 chord, I can capo up and play in D. go to D, if I want to go to, I'm in D, I want to go to E minor. That's the E minor. And that's an E. I'm impressed by the clarity of this on this little thing. I just want to mention, I'm just winging it today. This is the first video. Kill me in the comments. This is a very substantial sounding E note. And this bass can be used in general. It's not a uke bass, it's a bass. And they've worked it out with these rubber strings, though I understand there's some other materials available also. So it's a bass, and you can play a bass. What some people are doing, what I've seen some people do is use loopers and, you know, play their loop that and start going, or rather, and looping's cool, but my goal is to play this as a complete solo instrument, because I think that's kind of the amazing thing. I'm a fingerstyle player, and the idea of just being the total thing all on your own, that's always been the attractive thing to me, and kind of the magic thing. Oh, I hear 2 guitars. I hear 3 guitars. So you can use the capo. You can use the capo on the uke, but you can also use the capo on the bass. Okay, that's going to be it for this one. In the next video, I'm going to discuss bass capoing, how I hold the instrument, some of the cautions that I have about this. This is kind of a delicate instrument, and the electronics. And I'll also go into some methods of playing both next at the same time that I've been working on. Have not mastered them. So I'll see you then. Take it easy.